on Monday, November 17th, 2025. Before we go to the agenda, I'm going to mention that we are streaming live on YouTube today, and the contact information via Zoom is on the agenda. And we'll try to watch to see, or Terry's going to try to watch to see if someone is going to try to attend our meeting. Mackin.
Being on Zoom, if for some reason we can't attend, can we participate by Zoom?
The policy now is that you come together.
Right,
If you can't, then we can make accommodations for
okay.
Zoom participation, but the preference is in person.
It's for certain.
Without question, but
Yeah.
I just was
Yeah.
taking cognizance of
Yeah.
the Zoom capability
Yes.
and wondering
Yeah.
how it worked.
Yep.
Thanks.
So we'll try to be here in attendance.
Yeah.
Okay, in person. Okay, thank you. Next item of business is the election of a chair.
I'd like to propose that
Nominate
you be
Linda
the
Hall.
chair.
Oh, okay.
Second,
Thank you. Any other nominations?
we're not crazy.
Okay. You're right. You don't want to, never mind. So we've had a nomination and a second. All those in favor, vote aye. Okay, raise your hand. Thank you. Next item is to adopt the agenda, which you got in your packets.
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good. We're going to go to the overview of the 2025 tax rate and the LD1 compliance. Is it 2025 or 2026?
2025, we're showing you current.
Oh, current.
Yeah.
Okay, current.
So I will introduce myself. I'm Christy Ayana, the town administrator, and to my left is Terry Gaudette, the assistant deputy administrator, or what do we call you? Yeah. And deputy town administrator, thank you, and treasurer, town treasurer. And then we have select board member Matt Gilly. He is the select board liaison to the Budget Advisory Committee. I want to thank you all. You're all back again, so we have an experienced budget committee. I think you have a very good understanding of many of the components of the budget, and we'll be getting into those shortly. But again, I just want to thank you for your service, and I want to thank Terry in particular for, really putting this all together so you have a document in advance of the meeting to review and to, really jump into. So here we
Indeed.
are.
Terry, thank you.
Yeah.
So we did want to start by just looking at the components of the tax rate. And while that may be difficult for you to see, you all have the sheet, and this is for those who may be watching via streaming. In 2025, the municipal appropriations totaled $7.8 million. School appropriations were $10.8. We get a lot of questions about the school piece because the town is on a January to December fiscal year. The school is on July to June. So we have half of a figure from 1 year of their budget, and the other figure is for the second part of that, or the new year, I should say. Overlay is a piece that the select board can determine based on information they receive from the town staff. Has to do with what we expect for abatements, perhaps. That's really the only area where it can be used. So that is a select board decision. County contribution is 1.7 million, so we ended up with total appropriations of just under 20.5 million. There are revenues that are used to decrease the amount of money that we have to collect from taxpayers. So 310,000 came from revenue sharing, and that's a state of Maine revenue. 600,000 came from the town's own fund balance or unassigned fund balance. Homestead exemption is money we receive from the state of Maine. And Betty is a personal property tax reimbursement program. And then the municipal revenue piece, which was 2.6 million in 2025, those are just a lot of town revenues. The biggest portion of that number is excise tax. So, I think we're getting an echo. Am I the only one? Oh, there we go. So again, you get to see the total appropriations for 2025, total revenues, and then the amount that we have to collect is just shy of $16.8 million. We have a $2.5 billion taxable value, and we end up with a tax rate of 666. So that was a 4.7% increase in the tax rate from 2024 to 2025. And you folks are focused on the municipal appropriation side, but obviously you can see there are things such as the school budget that is not within your direct control that has a significant impact on our tax rate as well. Any questions on that piece? So that's 2025.
Christie,
Yes.
before we really dive into the weeds in this, will you have a similar overview from what we know about '26? So we can sort of compare the 3 years.
I won't have a school figure for you at the
No,
moment, but as we get
that I
further into the
understand.
process, we can flesh this out for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I fully understand it's
Yeah.
not going to be a bookkeeping thing at all. It's
yeah.
because we're working through it.
We don't like to make projections too early about the school budget. It's an independent process, separate from the town, and we do not like to get out in front of that. That's really not where we like to be.
Yeah.
So, we'll work on that. Next sheet is, I believe, is it the LD1 compliance sheet?
Yes.
So this used to be a law in Maine that communities were subject to limiting the increase of the appropriations that they could collect from the taxpayers based on a couple of different growth factors. One of the growth factors was an income growth factor. And there's a state of Maine department, it's the Department of Administrative and Financial Services. It does a calculation on the 10-year average of personal income growth in Maine, and they have put out a figure for us to use in this calculation, and it's 5.85%. The other growth factor we look at comes from our assessing department, and they look at sort of the new property that has been, I guess, put on the books or structures, things like that, for the very first time, and it was a 1.73% factor. So you combine those two, and we're at 7.5%, and we can apply that to the 2025 levy limit, which was 4.2 million, and we end up with a new levy limit for 2026 of just over 4.5 million. Again, we're not required to follow this, but the select board likes to have the town stay within that parameter if possible.
And we asked for
And
it
yeah,
last year.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Christie, the growth factor, is that unique to Harpswell, or is that a state?
Yeah.
Or
The one
county.
from the assessing office is unique to Harpswell. The other figure is a statewide figure.
Okay.
And do you know, since Harpswell is half, or roughly half, older people, like those of us at this table, who may be on fixed incomes, does the state factor that in? Or is it a little skewed toward towns with higher income?
I think they,
Or
fact-
higher,
Growth in income,
right,
yeah.
right.
I don't have all the details behind the calculation. I can provide you with what I have. The state economist is responsible for calculating this income growth factor. I don't know all the details that
Okay.
they've determined this income. I don't know what they use for their, let's see, let me read this. Average personal income growth means the average for the prior 10 calendar years for which data is available of the percent change in personal income in this state as estimated by the United States Department of Commerce, Bureau of Economic Analysis. 2024 is currently the most recent year for which data is available, and this was issued on September 26th of this year.
Okay, so it's,
So-
it's a year old, is basically.
That is what we have been using.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah,
Just-
that
I
there
was
is,
just curious.
yes.
Since it's
There's
been
a bit of a
something
lag
that's been
there.
on all
Yeah.
our minds
Yeah.
recently.
And maybe more pointedly, not a factor that was developed using the unique characteristics of our population.
Right, exactly.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
But the 1.73 is our new
But that one's
property
definitely
people.
Right.
through
That's a
assessing.
Harpswell
Yeah.
figure.
Christie, I apologize. If I can step back for 1 second, I missed a question on the SAD 75 contribution. Of the 24-25 increase shows approximately 6% increase. Do you know what that is on a per-student basis, what that increase is? Is it larger or
I
smaller?
was trying to figure that out myself, and I couldn't even figure out how many Harpswell students, I couldn't find anything on SAD 75's website for how many students there were from Harpswell currently in SAD 75. It only listed how many students were at the community school within
school.
town here, so.
They have a little over 2,000. I found that recently, in the whole district.
Right, but
But
that's
that's not, well, it's
Yeah.
130 some at the elementary.
129 at the community school is what
It would be interesting to know what that contribution is on a per-student basis,
I
what the
agree.
increase is on a per-student basis.
And we can do that, but there are other people who say you have to look at the school budget in totality, and then Harpswell has to pay a certain portion based on state law and our agreement when we get in the district, what it's based on. So we can break it down to a per-student cost, but it's still going to be a portion of this budget based on our responsibility
Oh,
under
no,
state law.
I
Yeah.
completely understand that. Having said
Yeah.
that is a number that has some meaningful,
It does.
that has some meaning, it means a lot.
And could I jump in here? Are we still getting a report from SAD 75 to put in the annual report? I haven't seen it recently. And I'll just throw out that
Last year.
when I was on the board, I wrote a report every year that you got and put in the annual report, and that number was there. But it's been 3 years since I did that. And so I don't know what it was, but it is, as she said, a lot of it is determined by the state formula.
You know, and I think it's interesting for this committee to think what role you might, if any, play in that number, because we, the staff, are not presenting information to support that number. So
Right.
while we could get you a per-student number, it's really not a discussion point for us particularly.
We can't
Right.
change it.
But what I'm asking is, and I hate to put you on the spot like this, but in recent years, has someone been giving you a report for the annual report, or is it just kind of dropped off?
You know, I really can't
Okay.
answer that question.
can't.
I mean,
Does it-
did we reach out?
Do we even
I
know if
don't know.
we
Did they
reached out
say
to
they-
them?
I don't remember
Okay,
the
that's fine.
specifics of-
I know you have so many things on your
Yeah.
plate.
Yeah.
Well, let me distill it to a much more granular level, which is, how about just getting us the number of students in MSAD 75, and we can divide.
Right. It, okay. You also need to factor in that the formula is based on also our ability to pay a certain amount. Because we have a higher valuation. A lot of it is based on the valuations. It's complicated.
I understand that we
Right,
have
but you want that one number.
ability to negotiate that, the same way that we had no ability to negotiate or influence, presumably, the Brunswick Library budget last year, because it was a fait accompli. Having said that, this knowledge is important to embed in this committee, and I think in the community more broadly.
I'm going to throw out, while you're bringing this up, that the district starts their budget process in early January, and I was on the board for 12 years, and to my knowledge, very few, if any, members of our town went to those budget meetings. So, and you have the opportunity to voice that opinion then.
Yes.
So
and
maybe
I
we
think I
should.
did. And perhaps there are people listening through this Zoom call and on public television and a variety of other forums, including the town website, who could extract information like this
Okay.
if we make this information available.
Okay.
Where are we?
Sorry, Christie, we
No,
kind
it's
of, we
okay.
kind of went down a different
Oh, that's
path there
okay.
for a few
I think
minutes.
that's okay. You know, it's good
so-
to get that out.
You were on,
I think just the LD levy limit. So
Yeah.
basically, you take that amount, that 4.5, and you say, we're going to estimate our 2026 revenues, so we've done that for you. Same amount of fund balance to be used in 2026 as 2025. A little more revenue sharing. We're watching that number closely to see if that looks like that would be 350. Homestead, similar number to prior year. And then we're looking to bump up these other revenues by about 100,000. So then you get this LD compliant budget, so to speak, which would be 8,374,000. And we have proposed appropriations at the moment of 8.2. So it looks like we're below this number by about 172,000 at this point, at this juncture.
That means we got to be good.
And we'll talk about some
We'll
things
talk
that
about
aren't in the budget yet.
well, as we know, as we go through it, some things go up, some things go down.
Yeah.
Mostly go up.
Yes.
Well, you never know. She had a big one go down last year.
So I just want to kind of, in my overview, say that it's a fairly straightforward budget year from the town's perspective. In terms of operational matters, we're really going to continue the commitment to services that we currently have, but we are focusing on improving our commitment to oversight of town lands. So you will see a proposal in this budget to make our monitor, it's a part-time position, but that it be a year-round part-time position. Probably working more in the summer than in some of the shoulder seasons, the off-season, but working an average of 20 hours a week, so this person would be benefit eligible. So I think that's a change that will be noticeable to you. And we are taking into consideration the fact that the Mitchell Field steward is currently performing those functions with no compensation. That's a personal decision. And that this person is going to step aside late in 2026, and so we need to prepare for that eventuality as well. So there is more of a commitment to better managing, from an employee perspective, our town properties. I think the other big thing you're going to see is building reserves for future capital projects. So that would be the recycling center building. And I know we have a member of the Budget Committee, Mackin Pulsiver, who's serving on a working group that's really looking at that situation and coming up with some recommendations for how the town should move forward. The cost of the project keeps going up. We were initially looking at rehabbing the existing metal structure, but now it's looking like a complete replacement makes more sense in terms of our future investment. So that's something that we're building toward. But we don't expect to start the project in 2026, but to start it in 2027. Capital Road Reserve, building that. We're not anticipating a road project in 2026, but we're building for the future. Emergency vehicles, we continue to build that account. We do have a proposal coming in soon to go out to bid for a vehicle for Cundy's Harbor, and we have to keep building for future emergency vehicles. There's some talk about the town needing a new boat at some point, so we're stepping up our commitment there. Not in a huge way, but just, bringing that to your attention. And then another major thing that this budget does is it fulfills our debt obligations. So that's where you're going to see one of the biggest increases in the proposed 2026 budget. Our voters have already approved borrowing $1.1 million for the Mitchell Field boat launch, and that project is underway. They've also approved borrowing $6 million for the Central Emergency Services building, and we have started that process. We've selected our architect. We're actually out to bid right now for a construction manager, and so we are moving forward in that area. But we will have to start paying back these bonds, and so we will get to that as part of your review, but that's where you see a significant increase in the 2026 budget. And then I just want to say what's not currently included for kind of bigger items. It would be wage and salary adjustments beyond the 2.8%. So right now, when you're reviewing this budget, all of our employees are slated to get a 2.8% increase. But we also have, we have a contract with a consultant for a wage and salary review of our labor market, looking at similar positions in area communities and identifying what they're paying, what we're paying, and if we need to make some adjustments. So that information is not going to be ready until early January. And that is not something the Budget Committee gets involved in anyway, you know, determining what individual employees should be paid or what positions should be paid. That will be handled at the Select Board level, that issue. Another piece that's not.
While you're on that.
Oh, go
just a
ahead.
quick- Is this consultant, is this someone we've had every year, or is this a new
No,
one
This is a new
one
consultant.
in '25?
Yes, and we are looking at our labor market, so we do know that Brunswick is participating, Topsom is participating, Freeport is participating, Yarmouth is participating, and Bath is participating, as well as, I believe, we've reached out to like Booth Bay, Damascotta. They're a little bit beyond our area, but they
Yeah.
have similar positions and are similar sized, so, yeah, this is
Okay.
ongoing at the
Yeah, because
moment.
I know we've done it in the past with the.
It's been a while.
But it's been a while.
2014.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Oh, my, how time flies.
We've been we continue to increase
Yeah.
the kind of overall scale each year, but we haven't taken
haven't done
another
a
deep dive
comparison,
into it,
yeah.
so.
Okay.
And you will share that report with us, or the conclusions of it?
Conclusions probably, yes,
Very good.
yes, yeah,
But not
Yeah.
till January,
yes.
when we will have kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
agreed on this budget
Yeah.
at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then I think the other area where we don't yet have a number is the resiliency and sustainability reserve. So I do think you have a memo in your books. It was compiled by members of the Resiliency and Sustainability Committee, and they really gave you a great kind of background document on how we got here, some of the projects that we have planned for, the cost of those projects in current dollars, and no one is saying to the Budget Committee, we need X in this budget. I think there's going to be a lot of discussion by the committee about what is the right number to put into that reserve. And there's been some talk about whether we should have a separate construction reserve in addition to sort of a planning reserve, because the current reserve has been primarily used for planning purposes. So, you know, I think we're going to get into that issue a lot.
Good.
And that's
when you
not,
get to that
included.
point.
Those changes are not included.
Correct, but you have a lot of background information to help you think about that issue. I think that was a particular ask of this committee last year, that you wanted better information about kind of the background, some of the information that's been produced from the work that we've been doing. And those numbers are big. Those numbers are very big. And we have to think about how we plan for those numbers, and if we plan for those numbers, that kind of discussion.
I really applaud that, thank you, because these big numbers, and there are a number of sectors of it, are just going to cascade through the entire budget. They shouldn't be surprises to us at all.
And I really want to thank the Resiliency and Sustainability Committee, and it's chaired by Mary Ann Naif, and they did a great job, you
right
know,
behind
pulling this information together, so. Yeah, kudos to them. So that's my overview. So now, when you look at the numbers here, you can see operationally, we're looking at a 2% increase overall through all departments. There's no special project this year at the moment. I will share briefly with you, there's some talk about whether we should budget for celebrations in 2026 for the 250th anniversary of the U.S. So we're kind of talking with the Historical Society about what it might do and how we might be a partner and whether that involves funding or not. So anyway, currently 2% increase in the operational area. And then you see debt service, if you just look at that figure, a 43% increase. But overall, capital, 16% increase. So I think this budget season, we will be focusing a lot on some of the capital areas of our budget and looking out in the future. Any questions on the budget summary? No?
Thank you.
No, and then we have a lot of detail by department, but I don't know that we need to go through that at the moment. But did we want to do significant increases, decreases? We don't really have to, because I think I basically,
hit 'em all.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
you've
think I hit
pretty
'em.
much covered
The
them.
sheriff's contract has some increases. When we apply 2.8% across the board to a $1.6 million payroll, that gives us about $45,000 in increase. I talked about town landings. We have an increased request from OBIFD and increase in the Winter Road contract projected. Then some decreases. We do not propose any new borrowing in this 2026 year. No new borrowing. And no special projects at this point. So, yeah, I think I covered that and what is yet to be determined. So first budget is general government. You know, this includes my salary, Terry's salary. We have a person at the front desk, full-time, and we have a person working in bookkeeping, part-time, and we have a part-time communications person in that area of wages. We're not proposing anything to significantly change there. Contracted services, these are special professionals that we might need to help guide us in certain areas like economic development. We are working with someone right now who's helping us manage an amendment to the lease at Merry Meeting Shellfish. Different things come up during the course of a year, and we need to turn to this for, you know, professional assistance, primarily consulting services. Our audit is proposed to go up a bit, or at least maybe be more in line with the expenditures of 2025.
Well, they changed, they require more upfront now.
Okay.
That very competitive field.
Yeah. You know, computer systems agreements, those are software agreements, hardware. Any hardware caught up in that a little bit? Yeah. Our legal budget, we were hoping to keep in that $65,000 range. That was one we bumped from 2024 to 2025. You'll see the history there. Some advertising promotion, copying, postage, travel, it's pretty low expenses there, training, membership and dues. Those membership and dues are for Maine Municipal Association, Midcoast Economic Development District, which is now known as MCOG, I think, Midcoast Council of Governments, Southern Maine Midcoast Chamber, kind of a chamber of commerce. And then we have not included the Harpswell Business Association this year because they did not request money in 2020. Well, in 2025, we reached out to see if they wanted the appropriation that had been approved by the town, and I think they were saying they were still trying to reorganize, and that's just still under reorganization, I think, is the situation there. I don't know if it's going to continue as an association or not. And again, this is for the membership part. Registry of Deeds, office supplies, printing public information, this is for our printed materials. Occasionally, we do a municipal newsletter in print, but we've actually started monthly e-newsletters, so I hope you're all signed up for those. And I really want to
That's
thank
great.
our new communications person for making that happen. Yeah, it's a really great way to share information. Doesn't require printing paper, mailing it to people, so it really helps keep some of our costs down.
Have you considered the town annual report and an e-distribution an option, or any way to reduce the cost of printing on that?
It comes up from time to time. There's so many traditionalists in Harpswell that like
it.
their printed town report.
And one reason why we're really key about the town report is it has the warrant in it, that we ask voters to come to the school with their town report so they can vote on the warrant. And so you're really trying to encourage voters to come out. So we haven't been willing to cut that as of yet, because you're really trying to engage voters. Come with your town report, come and vote on this warrant. Many years ago, we used to send it to non-residents, and we did cut that. And of course, it is posted online, so people can see it online as well. But a lot of people are very good. They come to the school with their town report.
How about offering the option?
Yes.
Meaning,
So then
I
that
don't-
gets
I don't need more
difficult. I
stuff.
mean, it's a good
Yeah.
idea, but it gets difficult to manage, but we can take a look at that. Because when we mail, we do a bulk mailing, so it just goes to every resident. It does not go to a specific name.
Which is the cheapest cost, and then if you
Yeah.
start
Yeah.
pulling those out, you're no longer at bulk mail,
Each
you're.
household it goes to?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just goes a
Yeah.
lot
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, and then
Right.
you have more staff time, having
Yeah,
to
yeah.
figure out
Right.
who gets it mailed to and stuff, so
Yeah.
you might really.
And the postage would be a
Negate any
dramatic
savings,
increase,
right.
yes, yeah. But
How many households do we have in Harpswell? I know what the population is supposed to be.
When we mail those out, I think, are we mailing like
Never mind. It's
2,000?
not-
testing my memory.
2,000?
No, I think it was more than
But
that,
it's
but.
like the winter number for people who receive mail in Harpswell.
Right.
We're using numbers like for people who have PO boxes and get their mail in Harpswell at both Harpswell Neck, or all three locations, Harpswell Neck, Bailey Island, and Oars Island. We actually do separate deliveries, and that keeps our costs down,
Okay,
going to each post office.
thank you.
Yeah.
A couple of smaller items, one being that the copying printers budget is up about 20%. What, is that the purchase of a copier or just increased volumes?
It's, so we have a printing contract for all of our printers and our copiers. And we had several overages this past year, which did increase that budget. But we also added a couple of individual office printers to our contract.
And the video filming, the same
We're
question.
looking to expand upon that, so Amelia, who came in and helped me at the beginning of the meeting here, she's our communications specialist, and she has done a great job overseeing the media room and setting up the technology and everything. The town has been working towards rolling out more. Well, as you'll see, your chair explained at the beginning of the meeting, this meeting is now available by Zoom and for live streaming. A staff member is here, I'm here, so we can do that. But there's lots of night meetings, and many committees all want theirs to be part of that rollout. This past year, we did roll out planning board. Select board has been obviously the first one, and that's been for quite some time now. We've rolled out planning board. The comp plan was all done in that way, budget. But we're going to need some more. Myself and Amelia cannot attend every one of those meetings and do our full-time job, so we need some part-time filmers. We're going to be looking for some part-time filmers next year.
Okay.
This is an evolving area.
It's good to hear.
We're trying to do it thoughtfully.
Yeah, and I'm presuming that it is. The challenge at some point will be, how much is too much, right? How much do people want to digest, and how do you make that judgment? At some point, your costs are going to continue to increase, and who's going to make the call? Who's even going to look at the
But it's nice
question?
to have it there if you want to go back and double-check something.
Yeah.
And hear what someone said and so forth.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree with that, but
Yeah.
it's a question of how much do you want to pay for in the end, right? I'm not criticizing where we are today at all. What I'm saying is, in the future, this number is likely to continue to grow, and at what point does people's ability to
Support.
I have nothing to do all day.
I think we
I'm
can
joking.
keep that number-
I don't believe that.
I think we can keep that number pretty low too, especially, I mean, we already have a ton of volunteers in this town as it is, and I'm sure there's somebody on just about I might be getting ahead of myself here, but I'm sure there's somebody on just about every committee that would be willing to learn how to video, the meeting. So if they were willing to volunteer and do it as a member of the committee, that cuts down on
Great,
expenses. So that could be something we could explore to reduce expenses going forward.
And we definitely are trying to roll it out slow for that reason, but I will tell you, Dave, that we hear surprisingly quite often, I want this committee, why isn't that one available for me to join remotely? Especially post-COVID, we recorded it was all held by Zoom, and so we heard a lot about that after that, and we made promises to people that we would try the slow rollout. And the select board has been guiding it, and so that's why they select board and then planning board. And I will say, we still stream select board on Facebook in addition to YouTube, but specifically other meetings like this one is just on YouTube because that's our channel for all of our governmental recordings. But Facebook was becoming an overused tool for that area, and so made that decision to stop putting all that stuff out there. It was great during COVID, but now people can go to YouTube, and Facebook can be announcements and other things that are a little more enjoyable than some of these meetings.
What are you trying to say?
But
I didn't say that.
please,
All my
please-
meetings are
please do not infer that my inquiry is criticism at all. It's not intended that way.
No,
In running my own business,
Yeah.
what I've found is that people always say they want more information. It's insatiable. You ask them if they want information, and the answer is yes. If I supplied them with everything they wanted, I would not be in business anymore.
I totally agree with
you know,
you.
Yeah.
Totally.
We hear about transparency all the time.
Yeah.
They want these committees who are discussing town issues to be
Right.
available to them as they are at home. And so we're working on that. The streaming is maybe a little bit easier to deal with than the Zoom, because the Zoom has the interactive element.
Yes.
So it's a little bit easier for us to put these on our YouTube channel. And then you're right, it's a great archive. Like, we go back and we watch meetings when we're questioning, what did the select board say about that issue?
What did they actually say? Yeah.
So it is really helpful, but the whole interactive piece, like every single meeting, somebody ought to be able to participate remotely. That's a little too much for us to take on right now. And I noticed, I think it was the city of Bangor recently just stopped doing it because they were having a problem with it. Too many people were coming on and doing things that were
Yeah.
derogatory, and
They have a
the
name for it.
monitoring of it became difficult.
Yep.
So I think our slow approach has worked for us, but maybe it's frustrated some people that want to see more meetings online. Anyway, but good question, good comment.
Thank you.
It's the slow rollout.
Yes.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
Audit, do we periodically put our audit firm out for bid?
We have in the past at various points in time, but there are fewer and fewer companies now in Maine who are doing this, and so
Does it have to be in Maine?
maybe not.
But if there's a travel expense,
Yeah.
are they doing them online? I mean, do they come into our offices?
I'm gonna let Terry handle that question.
So with the new federal guidelines and the new standards are escaping me at this very moment, but there's a bunch of new standards.
Right.
Auditing firms are folding or selling out to larger ones, and so there's municipalities and schools and counties that can't even get an auditor at this point. And so let me address that globally. So legal, our town mowing, auditing, engineering, we try to do those regularly. Banking, our banking services. And honestly, on all of those, we have been with the same for quite some time. We used to try to do it every 10 years. In particular to the auditing, it has become very difficult. And when you communicate with your other town treasurers and finding out that they've lost their auditor and they can't get into a new one, we haven't been chomping at the bit to go out and do that. We have a very large company who has committed to us, and they've experienced some changing, some increase in pricing. And also, they require a large payment up front now because of how competitive this field has gotten, that if people don't, we've already had to sign our engagement letter and provide a down payment before they will even book your date, because it is so competitive that they have had some municipalities sign their engagement, not pay, was not ready for their audit time slot, and everything has, and so you have to now put your money where your mouth is. Yes, we will be available this date, and you're paying, and that's how it goes, or you're out. And so I'm just telling you how competitive that is, but we have not done that in quite some time,
So this,
along with our other services.
this increase, you said, though, is because we have to pay up front.
And there was an increase in the rate due to the new
So would it-
standards, the new
would it
requirements.
Level off in
It should.
2027. Thank you.
Terry, do they have to change their audit partner every few years like they do for public companies? And
I
that's
don't
not
know
a
if there's an
price
actual,
issue, it's more of a anti-fraud prevention mechanism.
I don't know if it's a standard that the lead auditor has to be changed, but all of the, there's a lead auditor, and then there's, what are their titles? There's associates. There's associates that come with them. The associates are new every year. And they're collecting the data, they're doing the payroll testing, but the contact, we've changed over the years because their staffing has changed, and they may go to a different level or back in the day to another firm, but now our HR has really grown quite a bit. And so our lead auditor has been the same, but all of the associates involved in every step of the way change every year.
I raise the question because it's best practices across U.S. business to change on a periodic basis, or at least to put it out to bid, both for the cost point of view and, as Dave said, fraud, which creeps into every human endeavor at some point if people are complacent.
See, in the corporate world, only one, the lead partner is the only person who's really signing the validity of the audit opinion. At least it was when I retired. I assume it's the same way. So while the associates are an important part of the process, they're not, that's not where the buck stops. The buck stops with the gal or the guy up at the top. That may be a conversation at least worth having at some point.
They have
I
a-
throw that out there. I'm not gonna follow up on it or anything like that.
They have a whole new structure now, so lead auditor comes here, but it goes, they have quality assurance office, they have, and those people are changing, and it doesn't stop with our lead auditor. It goes through each and every one of these quality and management control offices now, which has changed over the years. We're communicating with a lot of different people now, and then the president actually attended our last review of it as well. So I can certainly find that structure, but it's totally, they have been subject to, and that's so many changes in standards. And so the pre-stuff that I've been working on for a week that I have to provide are all due to these changes in standards, and the information is very detailed and very amazing in its level. But it goes through a number of series of reviews.
There's not a lot of auditors to pull from in the state as a whole is the problem we run into. And we've seen it in other parts of the state, in central Maine, and more specifically in Washington County, who didn't do an audit for years. The predicament that they're in now. So my concern would be is we have somebody that's working, if we potentially send it out to bid and try to leave them, we may be left with nobody, and then we're in real deep trouble. So,
No, I completely understand that.
Absolutely.
All
do.
right.
It may get worse before it gets better.
yeah.
Everybody's worried, the kids are all worried about entering the profession because of AI. The recruitment levels are are down meaningfully.
A lot
But
of
it might be-
changes.
Okay, I'm going to suggest we move on.
Could I
You
just,
have a question?
could I make one
Yeah.
very brief?
Yeah.
It might be an interesting thing, just a couple of investigations. Can you have an out-of-state auditor? And
I
that-
bet you can.
That might open the whole field. So if we address this
Might be
question,
more expensive, but I
Yeah,
bet
it
it's
might-
it might be
possible.
all of
Yeah,
those
yeah,
things, but,
Yeah,
you know, then at least you'd have a broader feel to,
I do believe our auditing firm does New England communities. I don't know how far out they go, but.
Might be worthwhile just as a sort of to know it as a backup, Mac, and I think that's a good idea, which is someday somebody calls you and says, we can't audit your account.
sure.
We don't have the manpower or or on to other things.
Oh, we're retiring,
Yeah.
closing our business.
Okay. Did we announce at the beginning that we need to be done in less than an hour? I'm just pointing that out.
I didn't know
I
that.
appreciate the detailed questions here.
A standing announcement, will I take it?
Well, today, there's another meeting coming in, and they need to reorganize.
Yes.
So we need to be out by quarter of. So, can we move on to elected officials? Christie?
Yes, so elected officials, you see very little change there.
Yeah.
I think tax collector doesn't show at 2.8 because we had someone retire in 2025, and so that was kind of a split salary there.
Marge?
On the top line, the salary full-time, did I miss why that's not a 2.8?
She just said it.
No, she's talking about,
Tax collectors in elected office, right?
Yes,
I'm on-
right, right.
Right,
I'm on the top line.
right.
Because
Okay.
the components of that top
Okay.
line
All
are
right,
the 3 select board members, a tax collector, and town clerk. All the elected officials are in that number.
And the select board, they don't get a
Yeah.
raise either, so that top averages, they are the highest paid select board.
Everybody's gonna throw that out every time the pay comes up.
Really?
Yeah.
They get more than the school board, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, 0.
I've earned my money, I can promise you that.
You didn't
No
see
doubt.
School board, 6 meetings a week.
Yeah.
The hourly is probably not compelling.
I don't do it.
And
I quit.
and meetings that went till midnight.
Oh, boy, that was the day.
Yeah, that was, oh my God.
Thankless.
So, Marge, are you set with that?
I'm okay.
Okay, so, yeah, all right, so, town clerk?
Assessing?
No, I'm
Next
sorry, I
one.
skipped assessing.
So we have a full-time assessor's agent, certified. We have part-time wages, so our communications person is a full-time staff member who works part of the time in communications and part of the time in assessing. It's actually worked out really well. This person has a great skill set and is interested in becoming certified in assessing. So I think that can only help the town, and we encourage that, and we included some additional training in the budget for that purpose, and I think things are going well in this area.
Are the wages for that position, because of that, the role is split, or the wages
Yes,
split
yes,
as well?
They're split,
Okay,
correct.
thank you.
Yep, yep.
Okay. And code enforcement?
Code enforcement, we have a full-time code enforcement officer who is certified by the state of Maine. We have an alternate who is becoming certified, and then we have another full-time staff person. So we're feeling good about our code enforcement office getting back to being fully staffed. And we need to get that second code officer certified. And so, yeah, things are moving in a good direction here. Under equipment expense, the office is interested in getting this piece of equipment that would give them very specific information about the longitude and latitude of septic systems, wells. So they have asked for this very specific piece of equipment in that equipment line, and that's where you see a big increase.
Is that a one-time request, or is there
You
an
know-
ongoing software
Good question.
contract?
I think there could be some ongoing software issues with that. Do you, Terry?
There might be a subscription with it, but certainly the large figure is the one time.
Is the acquisition of the equipment?
It's a good idea.
So would they be
That is
checking
it, though.
Yeah. well,
current
they-
wells and septic systems or new ones? I guess start with new ones.
You know, we haven't worked out the details, because I think in order to get, like, for instance, let's just use wells as an example. The state has a law where any new well that is drilled the information needs to be reported to a state agency. The depth of the well, the draw of the well, maybe a few other things. And so if Harpswell is going to have a program, is it going to be voluntary? Or is it going to be something that we require by ordinance? So we really haven't worked through
Work that out, okay.
that whole piece.
But they would start on the sites that.
The new
if-
ones.
If this goes through, it would be starting with the new ones, but they have mentioned maybe one of our, we've been fortunate to get a summer intern from Bowdoin College. They mentioned maybe an intern could do some of the identifying and getting those coordinates.
Terry, to what end, operational end, do they want to catalog all this information?
So that's a good question. I think I've been told that the comprehensive plan
Yes.
talks about the town getting more information on wells, where wells are located, what their draw capacity is. So if there are some maybe proposals near some of these locations where there's data that shows there might be some issues associated with people's wells, that might be helpful information to the town. I think that's a really good question. How do they plan to use that data?
You
And
know,
how
You've
can
got to
that
have
help?
some benefit. Maybe you just
Yeah.
described what the
I think that-
benefit
That's
is.
kind of in the comp plan, that we should get more information about wells, where they're located, how much they can draw per gallon per minute.
Just very briefly, water is just a
Yeah.
critical limiting
Yeah.
issue for
Yeah.
so many things in Harpswell.
Right.
Yep.
And to
Right.
have this base
Yeah.
data is, I think, critical. And this is perfectly adds to that data set.
Yeah.
And we've had a number of water and septic studies, and so
Particularly right now.
if we had all that, they're saying if we had that information, we would know where all our septics and all of our wells are for certain studies, just like what Mackin said.
The water table.
What water table?
Tax office?
Yeah, really very little change here. We did have some cross-training in the budget in 2025, but we did that because we anticipated the loss of our retiring tax collector, and we needed to make sure we had that cross-training piece in the prior year's budget.
I noticed it looks like an increase in stickers. Did I read the wrong one?
Where
Is
are you
it,
seeing that?
Where
Is it
That's the-
printing?
that's the
Went from
printing.
30 to
Yeah.
145?
Right. Is
Boat
that something we do?
excise
It says boat excise stickers. What are those? That's,
302.
3021.
21.
It's the
It's a
3021
it's a small
supplies
amount.
You know,
printing.
what, I'm gonna have
Curious.
to ask that question. I don't
the
really know.
stickers I know that I
Yeah.
see are state stickers.
I'm not sure that meant to say that.
Oh, really?
We pay for what they call to be a green paper from our software company. I can get more detail,
Okay, I was just
of
curious
that.
why it went up so.
but if you look at this year's expended, it was
I see
164.
that, yeah.
Right.
So she looked at the expenses of those, and there must have been something extra, but the true cost with our software company was 145. But it's not the state excise, so I
Okay,
need
so
to,
So that
not quite.
explanation.
I need to look at that,
I was-
updating
I
that
was surprised.
explanation.
Okay, all right, thank you. And town clerk.
I think we see here that the clerk is budgeting a little bit of part-time assistance. I think with the gubernatorial election coming in 2026, there's an expectation there will be high voter turnout, and that office will need some help. And Marge is nodding, because I know she's one of our volunteers for elections, or one of our ballot clerks.
And the other side of that is you never know when something's gonna happen, you have to have an extra meeting, which happened
Well, it's
in
down,
25.
that's down
Yeah.
under special town meeting,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Okay.
But that all affects the bottom line.
Yeah, but it's
You've
down
probably
there.
done a tremendous amount of thinking about how to avoid having a special town meeting in the future.
Yeah, we
Do you
had
think
quite
that's
an
likely?
experience in 2025. You can see
Yeah.
that was a $4,300 expenditure.
Well, it's because we had two. We had a ballot in
Yeah.
June and we had a ballot in November.
Yeah.
We used to do very few, but
Yep.
the last 4 or 5 years were, so, because we used to say, you can't really budget for a special town meeting. If it happens, it's outside of your budget. It's been so regular that we would be,
Crazy not to.
crazy not to budget. We would not be doing financial planning in a good way if we did not budget for some of them, because we have been regularly doing special town meetings. And so it's always at the vote of another time, but the ballots cost a lot more than the in-person one.
Brief-
Oh, Megan?
Brief question. Given the, daily barrage of news on elections and so forth, is there any guidance from a state or federal agency on security and so forth that we ought to plan financially for?
I know the town clerk was contacted about security relating to the voting site.
Yes, that's what I'm really
And
focusing.
we are working with the school on that issue. And the school is the voting site. So if there's going to be grant money available, it's going to flow through the school. The school can apply for it.
Okay.
But we also do pay for a dedicated deputy to be at the school during voting, and the town pays for that.
Okay.
Which is greatly appreciated, by the way.
And that's not only at the school, at the community hall, or wherever the,
Voting is only at the school now. We've gone to one site.
thank you. So-
Thank God.
Town planner?
So this budget involves having a full-time planner, a little bit of part-time help, more in the contracted service area. And this is particularly to help implement or move forward the comprehensive plan that we're anticipating bringing in a consultant to help work with the town on that piece. So that's why you're seeing that number.
Are you anticipating something, they used to have a committee called
Yes, we're,
Comprehensive Plan Implementation Committee?
yes.
Are you anticipating that, or has it already
Yes.
been set up?
no, it hasn't been set up, but I
good to
think
be
we're
accepted
waiting
by
to
the
see,
state.
we have sent our plan to the state.
Ah.
The voters have approved it. The state's been informed of that. They are reviewing it to see if it meets completeness. And we're supposed to hear soon if it meets completeness. And then there's another standard or group of standards they look at, compliance and whether or not we made a good case to not designate growth areas, because it's required under the Growth Management Act that communities designate growth areas in their communities. That's part of the process. But we were suggesting that because we don't have municipal water or septic, we can't really do that. And we asked for that to be waived. So we'll see.
When do you expect to hear back on that?
On completeness, I think it's around the 20th of this month. And I don't know the figure, probably in December on this other piece. But we really, I think there was so much momentum and so much work that had been done, we really didn't want to hold off the vote. I think the select board member, Matt Gilly, could speak to that. We really wanted to keep this thing moving.
Yep.
And even if there are some areas that need to be addressed, we can address them. The voters really overwhelmingly supported the comp plan, so it is our comp plan now. And whether or not the state is going to require us to tweak it is another issue. We don't know the answer to that yet.
I think it will be good, because we worked with Vision to, the contracted service Vision there to ask for that growth exemption, and they had done it for other towns as well and had success with it with other towns, for similar reasons that we had. We live on a rock, with limited water supply and limited infrastructure, so it's hard to designate a growth area. And there are other towns like Phippsburg, for example, that kind of made that same argument, and the state accepted it, so we're in hopes that the same thing will happen again
It
with
would,
ours.
Yeah, oh,
Thanks.
makes sense.
Is Mark Ironman's
Mark?
oversight of the ramp in that contracted services bucket?
That, no, it is not. It is not. That is part of our, the money that's been approved for that project only.
Okay.
So we are no longer going to be, using Mark Ironman in our general planning services area. I think he's gonna finish out with us on the project at Mitchell Field. Yeah.
Okay. And committees and commissions.
Yeah, this is, a fairly minimal budget considering all
Yeah.
of the contributions that so many committees make in Harpswell to moving our issues forward. You don't get paid, the planning board gets a little stipend and the Board of Appeals members get a small stipend, but sometimes there are events that committees might want to hold. Marine Resources has held a landowner appreciation luncheon the last few years, so we like to carry some money in there. Some committees like to do special outreach, maybe posters, they're gonna have a special event. So that's kind of what that $2,000 is for. And then again, Board of Appeals, Planning Board, we like to have those members trained, and we pay them a small stipend.
Very
Have we
small.
taken into account that all planning board members are gonna have that required training with that
that's a
new
good question.
law? So we're going to have to send them somewhere to get that training, and that may cost us.
The right to know?
No,
No,
it's,
with that new LD
Yeah, I know what you
1829, I wanna say, Christie's
I
from.
think there's time to comply.
Yeah, I'm not
I will-
sure.
I'll look into that, though, that's a good question.
But that just might be, I think it'd be minimal too,
Yeah,
a few $100 type
yeah,
of thing.
Yeah,
But I mean, one thing to look at is, the committees, well, the planning board and the Board of Appeals generate more revenue than all the committees are even asking for, which is nice to see. They
That's
kinda
in their
pay for
fees,
themselves.
right?
Yeah.
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 Right.
Well, never mind, I won't split hairs. The planning board revenue is for a full application, but we have a planner that spends extensive
Oh,
amounts
true.
of time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, true.
the revenue coming in here is far more extensive than committees and commissions, and that's,
But it goes.
there's just other things
Yeah.
there,
Good
just,
point.
just,
Yeah,
Yep, valid point.
all right. Animal control, and that is further down in our booklet,
3,500?
3,500, yes. Oh, don't let her in. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Amy. There will be.
There will be, we're finishing up.
He's optimistic.
so
animal
animal
control.
control, this is a per diem employee, and we're not proposing any significant changes on how we approach animal control in 2026.
Do you know how often he gets a call? It's not daily, and is it,
Not
Any kind of
necessarily, but
animal?
Some of the calls are more complicated than you might think.
right, oh, yeah, I can
Yeah,
imagine.
Yeah.
we
So,
get very detailed records.
Yes, we do.
We get a weekly
Report.
record of calls, record of hours, and record of miles, and the outcome of the call. So we
Okay.
have a very weekly detailed
Okay.
report.
And that would cover deer or is that?
Deer
that's
does not
why-
really
that's
fall
wildlife.
under the animal control officer, not,
How about
animal
coyote-
control
things
is really
like coyote?
domesticated animals.
Just domestic?
Mhm,
Okay,
mhm.
that answers my
Yeah,
question.
Yeah, yeah. But the animal control officer does have a report in our annual town report, and it has some data and statistics about
Thank you
number
for
of
reminding me of that.
issues, yeah.
Well, it seems like a bargain. I went
It
through a
does.
dog bite situation with him, and his job is just endless when it comes to a single incident.
He's very good at it,
Yeah,
very
he's very thorough.
meticulous.
Yeah.
The good thing is it's a per diem position, and while there may be lengthy times, there may be,
Days when he doesn't
It's
get called.
quiet.
right,
Yeah.
so
Right.
it
Kind of
has its ups,
balances
it
out,
kind of
yeah.
balances, but it will definitely may have a roller coaster kind of
Oh, yeah.
schedule.
Okay. General assistance, which is 5,200.
Proposing the same budget for 2026. Haven't necessarily had a lot of applications. And some of our applications are repeat applications. But this program, can help people with basic necessities if they fall within the criteria that we have to follow. It's a state program, and the town is reimbursed 70% of our expenses. Every town in Maine is required to have a general assistance program.
I'm surprised we haven't seen an uptick
I know.
in applications or dollar amounts.
Well, I will say, our food pantry is doing just
Great.
a great job meeting the needs, so people don't have to apply for general assistance for food. They can just come in and sort of shop and
Yeah.
get what they want. We have our own heating assistance program in Harpswell, so that's a huge help to a lot of people.
Yeah.
The new wood bank, too.
We have a wood bank now.
Yeah, it's terrific to see
Yeah,
that
the
actually
right.
going down and then
Yeah.
getting refilled.
Yeah, yeah.
A question, if indeed there is a surprising uptick
Yeah.
later in the winter, can we go into our reserve funds to
So
fund some of these
great
things?
question. I think the law says for general assistance, you can always exceed the budget because you can't tell an applicant, I'm sorry, we don't have enough
Do it.
funding. So we have contingency here, which we can use, or you can put an article on your next town meeting to kind of retroactively approve those expenses. But
Right.
you cannot say, I'm sorry, we didn't budget enough general assistance.
Good.
Yeah.
What's the nature of the housing expense? Is that like not being able to pay their rent?
Right,
Rent.
correct.
Okay. Because that's the one we seem to have exceeded
Mhm.
this year.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just
We've
look-
had situations where we've had to do burials, that falls into this
That falls
Budget.
under housing?
other,
No,
Other.
Other.
Just in-
other,
yeah.
under
Sorry.
this budget, I
Okay.
said, yeah.
I'm
Other.
sorry.
No, under housing.
Permanent housing. I'm sorry.
Levity.
Dark.
That's actually pretty good.
It was, wasn't it?
I
Oh,
wouldn't have
dear.
been if she hadn't started laughing.
Maybe we're getting close to the end, we're getting
We are.
a little
Okay.
silly.
Any questions on this one? Okay. Health and wellness, which is the next one in our book.
So we are proposing to appropriate 20,000 for our property tax assistance program. I think for
I
the
don't
first
seem to
time we
have
had
it.
to,
I don't have this.
you don't have 5,400?
Wait a minute, I do.
Oh.
Yes, you do.
It's handwritten, yeah.
Yes, I
You can't
got it.
count this one.
Sorry. Wait a minute.
No, you don't.
Where'd it go? I just saw it.
It's sticking.
Oh,
in
it's
there.
sticking.
That's
Got it.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay. Health and wellness.
Yeah, so the property tax assistance program, I mean, we started in 2011, and we budgeted quite a bit of money in that particular year, but you can see the whole history of the program. You know, early on in 2011, it was always based off the state's program, and the state's program was much easier to qualify for in the early years. Then the state tightened up its program, but again, our program is tied to the state program. We are starting to see that number uptick now in 2025. So, you know, we try to meet the need, and for the first time, we had to prorate our benefits, but we still, you know, were able to meet most of the need, and we think the 20,000 going forward should put us in good position next year.
Could you just define prorate for me?
So, so there's an ordinance that the voters adopted for this program, and it says if you have, if the amount of money that you need to pay out to applicants exceeds what's available,
Yeah,
then you prorate.
okay, great.
So we, yeah, that's,
It was a minor reduction for
it's a-
each
yeah.
eligible
Yeah,
applicant.
yeah.
I get it.
yeah.
Thanks.
And so were all of those applicants able to meet their property tax obligations for the year in question in
Yes,
total?
because they have to have paid it, correct?
So this is a year behind.
Right.
So this was for 20, the payouts that we just did in October. It's based on you filing your income taxes for 2024. And part of our criteria is your 2024 taxes have to have been paid. You have to have received a property tax fairness credit on your 1040 ME, your state of Maine income taxes. And it doesn't exceed $800 per applicant, even though several people got $2,000 and a $3,000 payment. The town caps it at $800. As far as, we hope that people will then use this check. We mail each of these applicants a check for this amount, and this year I sent a letter explaining the proration and everything, but they are not required, we hope that they will pay it on their 2025 taxes when they receive this check.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just wondering if at some point the proration gets to be so punitive that people have some difficulty in actually paying their tax bill, even with the check that you send them. That's all. You see what I'm saying, or is that
Well, I
clear
think
as
we're,
mud?
we're saying the year for which they apply is 2024, and they've
Yep.
paid them, so they're getting reimbursed for that.
Right.
We would like them to apply it to 2025. The proration was relatively minor.
It was.
So, I mean, it really, I think the total that they would have been eligible for was it 15?
It was-
And we had 13 available anyway, over,
Okay.
I-
So
I don't know
your
my
requested
numbers.
amount, presumably you're trying to get rid of the proration?
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yes.
That's-
Yes,
Yes.
yeah.
But again, it's one of those that you do your best to estimate, because this program dropped off tremendously because people don't want to have to file income taxes if they're not required to. We did see an uptick this year for a number of reasons. We had free tax preparation here in this room.
right.
And we tied together our program, and so they were checking to see if people qualified, and they would hand out a local application. We expect them back again next year, so that was part of the increase. We've had an article written about the town of Harpswell because we are one of the few, if not the only one, that, yeah, we may be the only one that doesn't have a age limit. So if you're 20 and you qualify for this,
You qualify.
you qualify. And so that article generated, I think I had 3 conversations with 3 municipalities in this area about our program and what made us do it that way, and it all went back to the select board. If you qualified for the state, you qualify for here. The state, you will receive a larger credit based on your age, but you will still receive a credit if you're under that age. Anyways, so hopefully, I've estimated enough by doing 20, but with all the added interest and encouragement of people to file taxes specifically just for this, and we have it in our tax insert every single year, but it really makes a difference when somebody's preparing your taxes and says, oh, look, if you got $800 from the state of Maine, you can get $800 from the town of Harpswell. So that certainly helped.
Okay. Do we have a Terry clone?
AI, that'll do it.
No. There's no way. Thank you, Terry, for that.
But we didn't
information.
appropriate anything for heating assistance. We've been fortunate through all the donations, and as of October 31st, we have just over $46,000 in that fund. And Cook's Lobster and Ale House is doing their annual fundraising event in a couple of weeks. And so that's one of those wonderful Neighbors Helping Neighbors programs, so we're very fortunate for that.
And they get assistance no matter what they heat with, wood, gas, oil.
Pellets.
Electricity. Yep.
Pellets, yep.
Great.
I think it's great to look at the columns spent in the heating assistance. So since 2008, $429,000 spent to help people with heating assistance in Harpswell.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I'll be curious to how the number changes with the wood bank now, because instead of maybe having to apply for money, they can just come pick up some wood, versus before they were applying to buy a cord of wood,
Right.
where now it's available, so
Yeah.
maybe it will remain about the same.
Could you,
Yeah, and they don't have to apply, right? They can just come up
Yep,
and
there's
grab
no,
it.
there's no questions.
Yeah.
asked
So
anybody.
that is emergency use. There's a sign that says,
Okay.
if you need a cord of wood, please contact, and there's a number that people
Okay,
call.
but they
So
don't have to go through official channels and file forms. They can deal with this agent, whoever
They
it
can
is.
take that without, going through any form, correct?
That's great.
And I believe if they get the cord of wood, they go through, wasn't it the reverend who reviewed the
Yes,
applications?
it's like,
So they have their own criteria. They
Yeah.
ask certain questions.
Yep.
That's a wonderful thing.
Yes.
could you remind me of ARPA? What is that?
ARPA. Those were the American Rescue
Plan Act.
funds.
The COVID money.
ARPA, the federal government gave all the
Gotcha,
communities
COVID.
the ARPA
COVID
funds.
money.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yep.
And that is the end of item 5 on our agenda. Moving to number 6, other matters, including meeting schedule. Do you want to talk about the schedule, Terry?
Yes. Wanted to, oh. Sorry, let me get this. back page. So, on your table before the meeting, I did place the proposed schedule of meetings, and just have a couple of questions about that. I know Linda and I spoke on Friday. It seemed like we really started late this year, but we actually had started November 4th of last year because Veterans Day was on the following Monday. So we've actually only started one meeting later than normal. But you may recall last year, a couple meetings we had to start earlier, and that's not going to work out so well because we definitely want our select board member here with us. And we talked about maybe adding another day. And so how I've laid it out right now is that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 meetings. One is on December 15th, December 18th. After your last Monday meeting, the December 18th would be Thursday. I don't know if that works for everybody. If it does, what time frame would work for everybody?
I'm out of the country that day, so don't plan around me.
Okay. And then also on the schedule, I wanted to get a sense of who the committee would like to invite to meetings this year. So you typically, in the past, invite the cultural people if there were increases, or actually there was some you would always, last year I think it was just increases. So I wanted to see if you would take a look at your list of 6,000 and let me know, because obviously I need to notify them for scheduling. And you always hear from your fire departments, and I had those slotted for December 15th,
6,000.
if that works for everybody. I wasn't certain our time going forward, so before inviting everybody, we really need to hone in on the start time of the meetings for both Mondays and if the Thursday will work as well.
Well, we agreed that Mondays would work, except that
What time?
that's a question. And Matt, do you want to say something?
4 works for everybody. 4 would work for me. I can make 4 work.
Is that
Yeah.
the best for you, though?
No, but I can make it work.
What is best for you?
You don't want to know.
I mind, because I like that.
I
end of the
prefer
line.
5 or 6, but
That's fine.
That doesn't work.
4
Well, the
is fine with
question
me.
then is,
They're going
the-
to provide us lunch?
these two, and we
Yeah.
see Mary Ann back there, you guys would be going into overtime at that, but
Well,
not that you never do.
That's not an issue, but I don't
That's
know
all.
about other committees that meet at night on.
Oh, that's
Mondays
true.
and-
That's what I'm checking, yeah.
Yeah.
There are
Why
some.
don't we
Mon-
just stick with 3 or 4? It's-
Well,
Yeah.
I think 4 is fine with me. I can
4
make
o'clock is
work.
fine, but
And I
we
think that
need
works
2
good for you
hours.
guys too, right?
Does that
Steve,
work
Terry?
for,
Yeah, we can do 4.
but that works
Yeah.
going till 6 then,
There might be some
conflicts.
There might be some occasional where, like this evening, that you have to be out a little early, but Mondays typically lands in the side room and housing in the side. Mondays may work 4 to 6 without complication, but as long as we're flexible and can address complications as they come.
Okay.
What about Thursdays, though? We can't go for 4 to 6 on Thursday.
So, no, not 4 to 6 on Thursdays.
There's only one Thursday.
So
Or just on the 18th, see, on Thursday.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
only.
only-
that's the only Thursday at this time, but I will say, last year, they had to go early to get through
Okay.
the items, and so I'm wondering if another Thursday, but every other Thursday is an off Thursday for the select board.
Do we
That-
know if the 18th is enough
The 18th is a meeting,
for them? Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe just use another Thursday.
and so maybe we can,
What about December 11th?
Could
That's
it be a
Thursday.
Tuesday, or is that going to interfere with things? The Tuesday,
Um,
Monday, Tuesday?
Days of the week don't matter to me at all.
I can't do
You
Tuesdays.
can't.
Yeah, and Wednesdays are completely out with committees in this room on Wednesdays.
Fridays suck.
And
I will say
Fridays,
that. Nobody wants to come to a Friday night meeting.
No, that's.
No, they don't.
No,
We don't schedule it Friday.
no, I noticed that, and I appreciate that.
But you can get overloaded on other nights.
I mean, you could start by, I could add the December 18th to the calendar at 4 o'clock, and as things move along, if I'll know more of the schedule in December if we need to add more. If you'd like to just start with.
I was just going to throw out the 11th of December as a Thursday, and it sounds like that is not a select board meeting.
Correct.
So it might work.
And you
You're
would be
raising your
here for
hand.
that, right?
Is there
Yeah,
an
it
issue?
would.
Can we do a
I
lo-
leave the-
what happens if we
Yeah, sorry.
What were you going to say, Marge?
Yeah,
What happens if we make these schedules longer?
you start to go a little brain crazy, I think.
And the week after the 18th is Christmas week, and so I know that that has been difficult in the past.
Are people here for that Monday, the 22nd, or not?
Yes.
I mean, if everybody's going to be around on that Monday, no?
I
You don't
thought we
want
had one
anything?
already.
I would prefer
Schedule.
not to meet on the 22nd,
Okay.
I'm with Linda.
doing my last minute
22nd.
Okay.
stuff.
It's easier that way, you only pick what's left.
So
What
we should
about the
delete
29th?
22nd.
Pardon?
We should delete the 22nd.
Yeah,
Good.
she didn't have it on here, did she?
No.
it ends at the 18th.
Ends at the 18th.
Easy delete.
I threw out December
December
11th.
11th, I
Yeah,
think.
It's
Okay.
another
Okay.
Great.
Thursday.
That's great, and that can be 4 o'clock.
Yeah, I think December 11th.
We can kind of have that, like, if needed, right? The 11th one.
Right.
So to
Well, I-
summarize, our meetings now will start at 4. Going
And go till
Starting
6,
next
unless we hear differently.
Monday.
Hi, Aaron. Side room,
No,
but you'll be in here later.
Yeah, you're coming
Yeah.
later.
So November 17th today, November 24th, December 1st, December 8th, December 11th, and December 15th, and December 18th, 4 PM.
Okay, so you did put the 11th in there.
I'm not sure I can make the 11th, but that shouldn't hold things up. I do like Marge's suggestion, though. Distribute a few of these across the schedule and have one less meeting. So,
I would vote against that. When we've been here for 3 hours, I think we start to go,
No, we don't.
all right, I go a little. Am I the only one?
But
Maybe if
then
you
it's gonna
looked
be
at
4 to
how
7.
they're grouped, there's some suggestions
Have to
on
cook
grouping.
Well, it just depends on, you know,
You know, who do you want to talk to?
Well, you already said that the fire departments, right?
Department.
so the fire departments I tentatively have for December 15th. Do you want any cemeteries here? Who do you want out
I
of
think we should have
cultural?
the Cundy's
Memorial
Harbor
Library.
Cemetery
Yes.
lady
No, no,
here
the
for an update.
Cranberry Horn.
Don't agree.
Oh, that's a good,
I think
that's a
the old
good point.
townhouse, doesn't that have new leadership now, the
Yeah.
Historical Society? So we should hear from the new leader, I think.
What did they say about cemetery?
I didn't catch that.
Cranberry Horn,
It was
because
the
they
Cundy's
also.
Harbor.
Cundy's
the
Harbor.
Aerosol-
That's the
Okay,
only one.
Cranberry Horn.
Cranberry Horn Hill,
Yeah,
Yes, that's
Cemetery.
we should.
yeah.
we
that's a
should
good-
see, they were
good-
setting up something.
Well, Cranberry Horn, and you had one other cemetery with an increase above and beyond
Okay, what was
veterans.
the other cemetery?
That is the Oars Island.
Really?
Really, yeah.
Really? That was the problem.
So that's 12:30.
I think we should hear from them, don't you?
So 12:30. Oars Island, for their vets would be eligible for 3,100, and they've asked for 6,130. And Cranberry
Was there a
Horn,
reason for the, we
they
don't
lay
know.
out their reasons.
Yeah, it's in your notebook.
we haven't gotten there, okay.
But
One went down.
Cranberry Horn went down, but they had a stipulation, this committee had a stipulation last year, we'll do the 7,000
Right.
to give you time to reorganize, but you need to work on a financial plan on getting your back down to vets. And so while she decreased from 7 to 6, she's still well above the vets.
Yep.
And I sent her those minutes and informed her of that. And so her initial request was 7, and she dropped it to 6.
Okay.
And I believe we also asked that to come back with a fundraising plan.
Yes.
that was part of that.
Yeah.
Or, not sure you had to see it, you kind of said that you would give them time to have their own fundraising plan.
Indeed, but we wanted to hear about it.
So Cranberry Horn and Oars Island is what I'm hearing? For cemeteries, okay. Social services, are we okay with just, we have a side book with all their applications, and then there's the summary spreadsheet to provide information, whether it's helpful or not? Do you want any social services? And
We
then,
have one new, Sweetser is
I
a
saw
new.
do you want a new one? Sweetser is brand new.
Oh, so they put in the application, yeah.
They
We could
have,
have them come.
Pardon?
We could have them come. I mean, they haven't been here before.
Do we have anything else that week coming? No, I don't think so.
well, it's the same week as cultural, so you will have others coming.
Okay, who are we having on cultural?
Well, that's
Oh.
my question for you, but
Haven't gotten to that
you
yet.
typically have,
Is the amount for Curtis
Fixed.
It is-
definitely determined?
it is not.
No, no,
Oh,
it's proposed.
A new MOU is needed,
You have
Okay.
everything in your books?
Yeah, I saw that. I mean,
yep.
it
So
was an increase, but they'd kept it.
The director
Flat for a
laid
long
out
time.
her proposal.
Okay.
Can we have them come in?
So
Please.
Curtis Memorial Library. Both Oars and Cundies have,
That'll be a lot.
I mean, last year you kind of went based on increases, but, I mean, I don't want to sway you in that way. I can just,
Going on increases makes sense to me. Yeah.
so,
Depends on if it's how drastic the increase.
Pay for fireworks.
True,
part of it.
true.
So Oars Island is up these libraries, Oars Island up from 30,000 to 35,000. Cundies Harbor up from 35,000 to 40, and then Curtis up from 159 to 164. They're a little over 5,000. 5,000.
But they've been increasing every year.
Except for the fixed
Yeah.
period,
Pardon?
except for the
Yeah,
3-year.
Curtis
Cur-
has been.
Curtis didn't. for the
No,
last-
I'm
Yeah,
talking
but-
about Cundies.
Of Cundies, right.
So-
But ours had been flat for quite a while,
Well, there's so much
hadn't they?
inflation.
The issue with Cundies is they do a lot of other things besides the library. They're like the community center for the harbor. They truly.
No,
do-
well, that's, yeah,
Yeah.
right, which is what Oars tells us to.
They do
That's
a
what-
lot of stuff.
Right, they've,
They're a
Curtis
learning
is-
center.
right, they're
It's
a
great. It's
community
wonderful.
center.
I think the question is whether you want to hear from them.
I think if we could hear from maybe one of them, because I know, I'll talk to Dan Oveckin, who kind of handles the Oars Island one. And he has a lot of insight on the Cundies Harbor one as well, because I can't remember her name.
Heather.
Heather, thank you.
Heather-
Him and Heather talk quite a bit, so maybe if we just had one of them come in, they could kind of cover both libraries.
That'd be fine.
I'm gonna point out, I think
Heather should come.
we need to stick to budget items too, because I think we got into big detail last year. I'm throwing that out.
I agree.
With Cundies, maybe more detail than we needed to, yeah.
But I'd suggest that Heather Logan come as
So
well.
all libraries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that will be a big one.
The rest of,
And did we say Sweetser for sure? I understand what Sweetser does.
But they've
Could I have
never
some-
applied before.
Is there
But they're
any,
new, yes.
is there any issues with the harbor master? Should we hear from him?
No, yeah, we should.
Or the lack of,
Or, exactly.
okay.
no, we have an interim harbor master.
There's no significant changes in that budget, so I think it's, again,
I have a
your
lot to say on
call.
that budget.
Oh, okay.
I think it'd probably be
You-
good practice to
Matt,
We don't need to
in
come
since
here.
You
it's
need to
the first-
understand your role.
I thought we needed.
You're here as the
You
lead.
get the budget as a select board member
Right.
after this process.
Well, I mean, I just,
But if-
they
yeah,
provided, we can have them come in, but they provided the information to me, and I was gonna provide it to the committee, was all.
I thought the committee, do you have everything you need?
From the harbor master,
I
yes.
haven't looked at it,
Yeah.
but you said it hasn't changed.
Unless you have.
All right,
I can
fine.
add.
You
I'll-
can just
I'll forward
explain it as
You
what
can
you're
certainly,
saying.
oh, there's more? Okay.
My question was prompted with Paul leaving, and
So we
we-
have a new interim harbor
That's
master,
true.
Darcy Kuchar, so it should probably come from Darcy to us, to the committee.
Well, one of the things was I did do that exit interview with Paul, and I think there's stuff that the budget committee should be made aware of that was said in his exit interview about part of his reasons for leaving.
Is that
I think that's more
confidential?
select board level.
That's a
Is it?
select board
issue,
level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They don't really get into those kind of issues,
Mhm.
yeah.
That's fine.
If there's a
And then
budget,
there was the only other thing I was gonna include is Paul gave me before he left, he had done his own study of, like what other harbor masters and
we're
stuff.
having a consultant do that,
All right.
yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
they don't participate in the wage and salary.
Okay, all right, well, I'm learning as I go.
Matt, you don't need the mic.
Does she have enough? Does she have
Matt, you're
enough
doing a great job.
perspective to legitimize her being in front of the committee as an interim head?
Yeah, of
Okay.
course she does.
Because
And-
she's
So she
the-
was our
She's in charge
She's
of
been
the-
the
Yeah,
deputy.
she was
She's in
the
charge of a
deputy.
budget area. I would
Yeah.
suggest that she come in and,
And I'm just
justify
saying
her
on
budget.
what basis? Because she is, basically, the budget is staying relatively the same.
Yep.
And do you want to hear from her because she's a new
I
department
got
head?
it, but she's a new department head. She comes in, she sees everything with a fresh eye, and she may have some different perspective to share with us. Right? She's
And
But
new,
then-
it's
she's
only
new in
been
the
a
seat.
couple months,
And
right?
the thing,
Well, that was my
yeah.
question.
Yeah,
Does she
so
know
maybe-
enough here?
So maybe she
Yeah.
doesn't.
I think
think
she
so.
does, but she's interim and she's not guaranteed the full-time job down the road. So anyway, it's up to you.
This is
Kinda,
just,
yeah, you're right, Christie,
I mean,
there.
I just don't know how much effort you want to put into that. If the budget was changing drastically, I would say, yes, you need to
I
talk
would,
about
I
it.
would be willing to wait
I agree.
till next year to see.
Well, that was my
how things
question.
are.
So it doesn't sound like she has enough skin in the game, time in the game, legitimacy in the position at this point to have
I
a
wouldn't
constructive
agree with
dialogue with.
all that you said, but I think she's not guaranteed the long-term position, so she's not proposing significant changes at this point.
Okay.
If I
Right.
could make one suggestion, Matt, if you could brief us in a summary and controversial way or
Confidential way.
I
non-public
don't
way.
think so.
No,
I
no,
No,
don't
no,
think
no.
we can.
No,
Just
no.
hear-
If-
Hear my idea about what the issues are, and should we therefore anticipate, some
I don't
changes for
think I-
next year?
I'm gonna stay away from it.
That's an
If it's
administrative.
salary and wage related, we've never had this committee take that issue.
I
on.
understand.
Yeah,
I understand.
yeah.
But if you need more staff or more part-time, or the kinds of things which are budget issues,
But they
And those are things that department heads talk to us about.
good.
We give them their budgets, we say, we'll sit down and meet with any of you. If you're having significant changes or things you want, we should talk about it, provide us with the rationale. So we do have a process before you get the information.
Good.
So you guys are happy with the number that's in there? Because what it
For
all distills down to?
2026, we are.
2026.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
And that keeps us on budget issues.
It does. I think we're still open to the wage and salary piece based on the work our consultant does.
Right,
Yes.
got it.
Great.
I just hope some valuable lessons have been learned from it, so that's where I'm coming from, and I think I'm probably not the only one at the table for this. And I know it's above our pay grade, so just,
Just about anything is above our pay grade.
Speak for
Right.
yourself.
I just have to speak to, any organization
Well,
is
I'm not
not
gonna do.
static, it's ever-changing, and people grow and develop and want new opportunities, and so,
Yep.
that happens,
I know,
that's the
indeed.
situation, so.
I'm only
And we
smiling
look at-
because I
we-
remember when the harbor master was part-time.
Sure.
And-
Or when we didn't
And-
have
and
one.
it was-
I mean,
true.
Or
The budget was
stipends or-
30,000 a year.
The town
Yeah.
landings,
Period.
is that the
Yeah.
boat ramps or is that town
yeah,
lands?
It's both.
Both.
worried
isn't it?
me very much.
Okay. With the addition of the boat ramp at Mitchell Field, at that committee, we've had extensive discussions about what that's going to mean for staffing and how to keep track of that, et cetera. It might be nice to hear from the person in charge about how they anticipate managing that going
And
forward.
totally agree, so when we have the town landings and lands budget,
Yeah.
Katie Neal, who's our recreation director, who's going to manage this position, will be here
Okay,
to
she
talk
will.
about that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
What about roads? Or does
the-
that stay the same?
But there's no new roads, right?
There's no new capital roads project being proposed.
And maintenance is the same, but you have had your road commissioner in, so it's up to this committee.
I
No?
think you can answer
Okay.
for him.
Gary,
So,
risk
no-
management is roughly flat.
Well, you have to estimate an increase starting in July of 2026.
But it's not a meaningful increase, do you think, overall?
You never know.
Okay, yeah, we'll see, right?
Because we know half a year, so, because our insurance goes from July 1 to June 30th, so we know half a year. I just throw in a percent to increase it for next year.
Okay. Do you want to recap, Terry, what we've said? We've
So, before I recap,
Oh.
can I just
Yep.
finish getting answers?
sorry.
Out of 6,000, so I heard the 3 libraries, your Harpswell Historical Society, I think I heard somebody say they want to hear from him. They do have a $4,000 increase in their request. Are you sticking with increases? So would you like to hear from Harpswell Historical Society?
I think we could-
I would, I think there's new stewardship there.
I just want to be very
Yeah.
clear, so I'm going to go down through each one if you don't mind. So Pajepskit has a minor increase. They've gone from $1,250 to $1,500.
No.
$250?
No.
Okay, and then Bailey Island Library Hall, we know that increase is due to taxes. They only ask for reimbursement of taxes. Harpswell Neck Physical Education, that looks like an increase because they, once again, they've asked for 3,000 for operations, but they have asked for another 3,000 to finish off the tennis court replacement project. So it's technically not an increase, but I don't know if you want to hear from them on the update of that project.
No.
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 And HCBC is no increase. I'm just going down through each one, so. And then, yeah, so that's that there. And then I think I heard no to 5,300. Anybody in social services, including no to Sweetser?
No.
What is Sweet Serve?
No.
What's the
It's
number?
more of a social.
No, I think it's behavioral,
Behavioral thing?
Mental illness.
behavioral issues, and I think, is the request 2,400?
2,500.
2,500.
And that's probably for the number of people from
I
Harpswell
mean,
that
that
they
request
serve.
came in, I assume that everybody thinks that's a legitimate request that should be, Should
We
be
didn't really
met, I mean-
review, I mean, with too much detail, the Sweetser proposal. I mean, they do have some significant funds, correct? Yeah, I mean, if you look at their budget, they're not, they're a pretty
Big uppers.
large organization.
Like many of
with,
them are, though,
yeah,
so
yeah.
Very
when you ask if
robust.
we've justified whether it's a worthy, there are so many out there
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
we are bringing the applications to you folks. We'll give you the summary sheet. You'll see which ones have a budget in excess of $1 million, and Sweetser is one of those, along with several others. We can start with nobody coming, and then after you review them, if you had follow-up questions or anything that you may want to see, but I did not copy all those applications. You may recall that I have a book available with all of them. Anybody's welcome to see them all, or I can email them all and just not print them all. I can email them all.
Oh, my.
Is
Yeah, I don't
Sweetser
know.
in the book?
Yes. Oh, no.
No, okay.
No.
Maybe we distribute Sweetser, because
Okay.
that is a new one.
Okay.
You might like to take a look at that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would be
I
good.
think,
be-
and Terry, I think the critical question for me, and this includes the libraries, is how many Harpswell residents actually use these services?
Correct.
And if somehow that number can be provided, it's great.
It's on the form,
So social services, it's provided on that summary
Good.
spreadsheet.
That's the critical thing.
And your libraries, you'll have to read those applications.
I will.
They do say number of card holders, but I know
They
there's,
say card holders, and it's not, they're not.
right,
That's
there's
Yeah.
some data that's hard to
I'm
collect.
going to continue to ask for usage statistics, which is card hold, and not because I have an axe one way or another, I do not. But without good information, nobody can make responsible decisions, and the number of card holders is not sufficient to me to
And
make a
we've
$160,000
that-
decision.
either.
And we've asked this question now year after year, and so they should be able to provide.
Excuse me, who have you asked it of?
Curtis.
Library.
And they have provided
yeah,
it.
there's an extensive amount of information in here.
The ones who don't provide it, Boris tells us, we have 500 cardholders. And I say, how many of them use them? We have 500 cardholders is the answer we get. And we don't get how many use them. And the same thing from Cundy's. I mean, it's a hard statistic for them to come up with.
And then those people coming in to
Well,
repair
maybe they
can't
would
pay
like to
you.
hire me because I could help them understand what it is exactly is useful with respect to usage
I
intensity.
think we all agree.
Yeah.
I think we all
Okay,
agree.
but I haven't seen it yet. You keep saying we've gotten it from them in the past.
Well, I've been
Must
here a
have
long
escaped
time.
my book.
So,
And the Curtis Library is the one you have to defend on the street. That is the one to defend. I know they pass it every year, but that is the one that brings up, if any discussion is why are we doing that and what are their numbers?
okay.
I just don't
Fine.
feel like we have enough
need to-
information to
okay.
actually have a responsible opinion
I agree.
on that.
Okay.
That's why we have them come in. Hopefully they have the information.
But you make sure they have that information, all three libraries.
But please
If that's what you
review
want.
what has been provided to you
Okay.
We
from
will.
each
We will.
library.
Yes.
And let us know if you have very specific questions
Okay.
before they come.
Thank
At the next meeting, that would be helpful, if you could review those before the next meeting and give
Will
us specific questions,
Right.
so they can come prepared.
Right, right.
Can I-
Okay.
The
Did you
council,
have another one?
yeah, but it's not on Curtis, it's on the whole 6,000 account. The discussion has been, no, it's not, sorry. I'm on the Red Cross one, and that one, that's the one we've always had discussion about, not this one. Sorry.
Okay, we need to wrap up soon.
Okay.
Is there anything else for Terry and Christie?
I have one procedural question.
Okay.
So with respect to the organizations that come to us looking for funding, the largely nonprofits, I think,
That's one.
ultimately, the select people have to make a decision as to go, no-go on all of those. But is it the case that anybody who comes in and fills in an application, that will make it into the budget that we see, and that this committee actually is sort of the primary gate for those applications, or is there a process at the town hall?
So, really, we do not, we've only been sending applications to organizations that have been funded by the town in the prior year. So we don't send out this massive request, to organizations, but we have stuck with sending to those that have received financial assistance from Harpswell. And how Sweetser came to request it, I really don't know.
They reached out to me,
So they reached out and.
and so when they asked for an
Yeah.
application, I send them an application,
So-
they completed it. I will say,
Oh, we've gotta
we
start to
definitely have
wrap
to
up.
go, but many years ago, this committee had decided that they were only going to fund the entities that currently fund, and also not increase it, but this committee started increasing certain ones, and you entertained some new ones last year, and so as far as you be in the first line, I get an application, it's going in. If this committee doesn't recommend it proceed, the select board will still know that they applied as well, because it'll go through both levels, but this committee could not recommend proceeding.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. We are adjourned.